UK TikTok user John frequently ventures into the pitch-black woods and empty gardens surrounding Blackpool after dark. In August 2022, John posted an eerie video recorded from a residential backyard. Armed with a high-powered flashlight, he slowly swept the dense foliage bordering the property. At first, only dark leaves filled the beam, until he aimed the light toward a thick cluster of plants, illuminating something horrifying crouching in the brush. Concealed deep within the vegetation is a massive, bald head with pale eyes staring directly into the flashlight. Only its wrinkled, reddish face is visible, while its body remains buried in shadow. The entity stands unnervingly still, never blinking, never turning, and never retreating as John inches closer. A month later, John recorded a second late-night video from the exact same yard. Aiming his flashlight toward a wooden fence, the yard appeared empty. But something terrifying.
It's up there! It's up there! It's there, can you not see it? What the fuck is that? What is it? Somebody ring the police, quick!
Don't be afraid, my friend.
Rising from directly beneath the camera lens, a pale, scarred face slowly emerges into view. The entity rises from the blind spot right beside John, as if it had been crouching inches away from his feet the entire time. Its grotesque features closely match the creature caught in the garden weeks earlier. While an actor wearing a prosthetic mask could easily crouch off camera and rise on cue, the sheer proximity of the encounter left viewers terrified. Then, in October 2025, the same nightmare returned. Looming at the edge of the woodland path stands a full-bodied entity, with a crimson torso and dark lower limbs. It remains frozen in silence, watching John as the flashlight beam sweeps across its body. While John's profile openly states that he creates horror content, suggesting the use of masks, props, or actors, he has never publicly revealed how the videos were made. Was John genuinely stalked by an entity haunting the Blackpool woods? Or was this the work of a horror filmmaker who mastered the art of nightmare filmmaking? In June 2026, a page named CPT Ghost Hunters emerged, documenting chilling paranormal claims across Cape Town, South Africa. Their first investigation took place inside a friend's home in Bayview. Late at night, 2 investigators entered the pitch-black house, carrying only flashlights, expecting a routine walkthrough. But as they ventured deeper into the hallways, a series of sinister, intelligent disturbances began stalking them from room to room.
أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
Framed inside a doorway, a tall shadow figure briefly looms from behind the wall. Moments later, a heavy crash echoes from an adjacent bedroom, yet a search reveals the room is completely empty. As they retreat toward the kitchen, a small ball mysteriously rolls across the floor, while a broad shadow sweeps across the wall. Then, the sound of gushing water echoes through the dark. The investigators enter the kitchen to find the sink tap running at full blast, despite neither man being anywhere near the handles. And the nightmare inside the Bayview house was far from over. After shutting off the water, unsettling bangs and whispers echo from the dark corners of the home. As the camera pans past an open bedroom door, a dark, rounded entity sits crouching in the shadows, silently watching the investigators. While the investigators point out multiple shadow patches, skeptics argue that off-camera accomplices could have rolled the ball and turned the tap, while shifting flashlight angles created the dark silhouettes. Furthermore, despite promising a part 3, the account never posted any follow-up footage or statements from the homeowner. Did these investigators disturb a sinister entity lurking inside the Bayview home? Or was this a cleverly staged horror series engineered in the dark? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Paranormal explorer Dee returned alone to one of the most terrifying, cursed stretches of woodland she had ever documented. Hoping to capture proof of the cryptids rumored to haunt the forest, she spent multiple nights camped in the pitch-black wilderness. For hours, the woods remained deathly silent, until Dee placed a chair along an isolated woodland path and hit record, unaware that something lurking just beyond her flashlight beam was creeping toward her.
What was that? These lights in my face are horrible. Oh, God, guys.
Heavy, rapid footsteps violently crunch through the tall grass surrounding Dee. The movement circles closer and closer, until Dee panics, abandoning her chair and fleeing into the dark. While no physical form enters the flashlight beam, the sheer aggression of the noise leaves her convinced an apex predator is hunting her. Driven to investigate, Dee pushes deeper into another section of the woods later that night, and this time, the entity doesn't remain hidden in the shadows.
Guys, I'm really trying to give you guys videos out here for this place to the core, but I'm fascinated with it at the same time. I'm hearing noises, dude. I don't know if it's clicking. I can't hear it. It's like a low. Hello?
Looming at the edge of the overgrown woodland path, a pale, hunched shape emerges from behind the thick leaves. The entity has a hairless, gaunt head and narrow shoulders, leaning out from the brush as if watching Dee's every move. Dee panics and swings the camera away in terror before its full body can be revealed. Skeptics suggest a wild animal, a pale tree root distorted by the flashlight glare, or a staged prop. Yet after something aggressively circled her near the chair hours earlier, viewers were left horrified by the feeling that this pale crawler had been stalking Dee through the night. Did Dee capture a pale crawler hunting her through the forest, or did the darkness play a terrifying trick on her mind? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. In March 2021, a father named JB, known on TikTok as Dino Nuggets 741, set up a camera overlooking a quiet, empty hallway inside his home. JB claims he was away from the house when the security camera began recording. At first, everything remains deathly silent. The corridor is well lit, the air is still, and no one is in sight. Then, without warning, the empty house comes alive. The hallway light abruptly cuts out, plunging everything into total darkness. Moments later, a pale door slowly swings open. Beside it, a pitch-black human-sized shadow stretches across the hall, as if stepping out from the wall. The door pauses, then violently slams shut with a loud, thunderous impact before the light flickers back on. While frame-by-frame analysis reveals that the shadow never fully separates from the door hinge, the timing remains deeply unnerving. And this was far from the last time something dark haunted JB's home.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
No. Come on, yeah, we should go. Stay behind me. Shit. No. Come with me. Stick right behind me.
Oh, you smell that?
Oh, it smells like burnt eggs and dog farts.
I'm scared, man. It's cold in here now.
Months later, a low black entity crawls past the exact same living room archway. JB rushes into the hallway moments later to search the adjacent rooms, but finds the house completely empty. The camera never captures where the entity came from or where it vanished, but JB remains convinced that it is a shadowy demon, one that has stalked his family across multiple homes. Was something dark truly moving through JB's house, or did the darkness play a terrifying trick on the camera? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Late one night, a car was traveling down a desolate, pitch-black highway, cutting through a dense, suffocating forest. As the headlights pierced the darkness, eerie structures woven from branches began appearing along both sides of the road. They resembled primitive, ritualistic markers, as if they had been placed there to lure unsuspecting drivers into a trap. And standing beside the final marker, something terrifying was waiting in the shadows. Crouched along the dark roadside sits a hooded, human-like entity, clutching a tall wooden staff. Its pale, featureless head remains bowed as the car speeds past, never flinching, never turning toward the blinding headlights. Framed by the eerie wooden structures, the frozen entity looks like something caught in the middle of a dark, occult ritual. Skeptics suggest a costumed actor or a mannequin positioned beside the road to stage a terrifying viral prank. Too horrified to stop, the driver speeds away into the night, leaving the figure behind in total darkness. Was this merely a disturbing roadside prank, or did the driver stumble upon an evil ritual lurking in the woods? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. In October 2009, T.C. Ballinger arrived at the historic battlefield of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, hours before dawn. He set up cameras across 9 isolated locations, recording each eerie site for several minutes. This specific camera was stationed along a desolate wooded path off Wheatfield Road, less than a mile from the infamous triangular field. During the bloody Battle of Gettysburg, this very ground saw brutal hand-to-hand combat, leaving over 4,000 soldiers dead or wounded in a single afternoon. While filming, Ballinger noticed nothing out of the ordinary. But when he reviewed the tape, the quiet forest path was no longer empty. Emerging from the right side of the clearing, a pale, translucent entity glides out from behind the trees. It drifts slowly across the path before dissolving into the dark woods, lacking any facial features, solid legs, or modern clothing. Seconds later, a second spectral figure follows the exact same path, vanishing into the same dense tree line. While skeptics point out that hikers in light coats could lose detail in low-light compression or suggest a CGI hoax, Ballinger maintained the raw tape was untouched, and according to him, this was not the only spot where the dead seemed to walk that morning. Ballinger revealed that a second recording, captured just half a mile from the triangular field, showed additional ghostly figures, marching through the mist-shrouded forest. Both clips were recorded during the same eerie pre-dawn investigation. Without higher resolution footage, it's impossible to determine whether these silhouettes were ghost soldiers, lost tourists, or an elaborate video edit. Yet nearly 2 decades later, viewers remain haunted by what drifted across the battlefield. Did Ballinger's camera capture the ghost soldiers of Gettysburg, marching through the mist? Or did the low light and distance simply trick the eye? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Haley claims that a set of random coordinates generated by the Randonautica app led her to an isolated path, buried deep in the woods. Leaving her car behind, she crossed a rickety wooden bridge and pushed deeper into the desolate forest. At first, the path appeared completely deserted, but as Haley continued walking, a suffocating sense of dread settled over the trees, as if someone was watching her every step.
All right, going randonauting, and it took us to this shady park in the middle of nowhere, so let's see what we find.
All we see so far is like trees, a bridge. I think we have to go over this bridge, and our location's a little down there. What the? Oh, what the? Should we keep going? What the? Oh my god, is she following us?
Standing at the edge of the woodland path, a solitary woman looms in a long, dark dress. Her head hangs unnaturally low as she slowly glides toward the path, never making a sound, never acknowledging Haley's presence. There are no homes or people for miles, leaving no logical explanation for why this terrifying stranger is standing alone in the woods.
What the?
Haley spins around and flees down the woodland path in sheer terror. For 9 agonizing seconds, her phone camera points directly at the ground as she runs for her life. Haley doesn't look back, but when the phone finally swings around, the massive distance between them has vanished. When Haley glances behind her, the disturbing woman is sprinting directly toward the camera. Now, only inches away, her eyes are fixed on Haley, her face contorted into a terrifying, unhinged smile. The stranger who stood motionless moments earlier is now aggressively hunting her through the trees, and she is close enough to grab her. While her appearance resembles something from a horror movie, the woman appears entirely physical. Because the camera faced the ground during Haley's 9-second escape, a living person would have had enough time to close the distance, meaning a staged hoax remains possible. Yet if Haley's terror was genuine, the truth is far more horrifying. Randonautica didn't lead her to a ghost, it led her directly to an unhinged stranger waiting in the woods to hunt her down. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. In December 2025, Reddit user MamaD1974 posted a terrifying home video involving her young granddaughter. According to the family, the little girl was playing peacefully with her mother when an innocent afternoon turned into a living nightmare. In a matter of seconds, an unseen force shattered the quiet room.
Yeah, you can do it.
Without any warning, the young girl violently jerks backward, yanked off camera as if grabbed by an invisible hand. No physical person can be seen touching her, yet as she's pulled away, she turns her head and continues stepping toward an entity lurking just outside the frame. The footage cuts out abruptly, leaving no explanation and no follow-up clip. Skeptics suggest that an adult out of frame pulled her by the shirt or arm to fake a viral reaction. But the sudden, unnatural momentum left her family deeply shaken. Did an invisible force yank this child into the dark? Or was this a staged prank carried out? In October 2024, Chris was pulling up to park outside his house, late at night. Across the street, his neighbor's home was swallowed by complete, suffocating darkness, except for a narrow doorway glowing with dim light. As Chris aligned his car, an unsettling shape standing within that faint glow caught his eye. He cut the engine, grabbed his phone, and began recording the dead, silent house.
Was trying to park my car when I saw this across my house.
Framed at the edge of the illuminated doorway stands a dark, human-like silhouette. Only its upper outline is visible, while its face, limbs, and features remain buried in shadow. The entity stands unnervingly still, merging with the fence and the deep shadows surrounding the entrance. It could simply be a neighbor standing within the doorway, but over a year later, Chris recorded the exact same window again. He claimed this was his 4th encounter with the entity, and this time, it began to move. Peering from behind the doorway, a rounded head and shoulders repeatedly lean into the light, before pulling back into the darkness. Chris frantically calls out across the street, but receives only dead silence in return. At one point, the entity suddenly twists away with unnatural speed, leaving Chris audibly shaken. Yet every movement occurs behind the doorframe, resembling someone leaning out to watch him before retreating into hiding. 5 nights later, Chris pressed record once again, having named the recurring nightmare Tia Concha. The same shadowy form slowly rises beside the doorway. Once again. Its head and upper torso briefly emerge into the light before slipping back into the darkness. Because Chris filmed every clip from across the street, he never approached the house to reveal who, or what, was standing behind that doorframe. Skeptics argue that a neighbor playing a prank or an eccentric resident could easily explain the sightings. Has the ghost of Tia Concha been haunting this doorway each time Chris returns home after dark? Or is a living neighbor orchestrating an eerie, viral legend? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. In August 2026, Reddit user Nagaita posted a chilling recording he had managed to save from an obscure Facebook page. Before he could uncover who recorded it, the original account was abruptly deleted from the internet. Luckily, Nagaita had captured a screen recording of the clip. The footage shows a neighbor filming a house across the street in the dead of night. Nearly every window appears dark and abandoned. But when the camera turns toward a ground floor room, something sinister can be seen moving in the darkness. Behind the lower window pane, a dark, rounded entity sways violently back and forth in a frantic motion. At times, the silhouette resembles a head and shoulders rocking from side to side, yet no human face, arms, or physical details ever emerge. The rhythm repeats in an unnatural, endless loop, as if the entity is trapped in a permanent trance. Skeptics suggest a mechanical fan, someone exercising on a machine, or a rocking chair casting a shadow against a dim lamp. Furthermore, the rapid camera movements suggest that the clip may have been artificially sped up before it was deleted. With no original filmer or location ever identified, the footage remains a haunting mystery. Was this merely a neighbor engaged in a late-night workout? Or a restless shadow entity trapped behind the glass? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Shortly past 11 p.m., a backyard security camera captured a dead silent lawn, enveloped in shadows. Reddit user Brown Plague says his friend sent him the video the following morning, asking a disturbing question. If he showed him something terrifying, would he tell him the truth? At first, the yard appears completely deserted, until something unearthly begins circling the house. Sweeping across the lens, pale, glowing entities repeatedly flash through the night. The first resembles a translucent, elongated body, gliding through the darkness. Others manifest as glowing orbs, shapeless masses, and serpentine coils. In the final frames, the entity contorts into a squirming, worm-like shape, as if a shape-shifting presence is altering its physical form with every pass. While the morphing silhouette looks horrifyingly alien, camera experts point to a more grounded explanation. An insect, or strand of spider silk, floating inches from an infrared lens, becomes severely out of focus, stretching its movement into translucent rods and worm-like streaks. While likely an optical artifact, the distorted infrared footage creates the terrifying illusion of a shape-shifting entity hunting in the dark. Was this merely a bug near the camera lens, or something unnatural morphing in the night? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. TikTok user Tayski posted this disturbing recording captured inside a nursing home. While working alone inside a linen room late at night, an ordinary shift turned into a nightmare when something appeared on the other side of the locked door. Peering through the small, wired glass window, a tall, pitch-black shadow entity stands frozen in the hallway. Its dark, faceless form faces the room, silently staring at the employee from the dark corridor. The moment the terrified employee turns the camera away, the entity vanishes into thin air. Skeptics argue that the silhouette could be a wandering patient or night shift employee, distorted by the reinforced safety glass and low light. But why was this faceless figure standing in complete silence outside the door, only to vanish without making a sound? Was it merely another employee on duty, or a restless spirit haunting the halls of the nursing home? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Angel Gomez was filming an ordinary family moment as his young sister walked across their living room in her school uniform. Nothing about the brightly lit home seemed unusual, but as the camera panned across the room, it unknowingly captured something terrifying. An entity lurking just inches away from the unsuspecting girl. Peering from behind the far edge of the turquoise sofa, a pale, dark-haired face stares into the room. Only its head is visible, resting unnaturally low against the wall. The entity silently fixes its eyes on the child and the camera, while keeping its entire body concealed in shadow. The camera eventually moves around the furniture, searching the narrow gap behind the sofa. An adult woman dressed in black is revealed sitting on the opposite side, but no second person is found hiding behind the backrest. Whether that disturbing face belonged to her or to an entity crouching in the darkness remains a mystery. Optical analysis suggests that the partially concealed face likely belongs to the woman seated on the sofa. The tall cushion, low camera angle, and video compression distorted her features, giving her a sinister, eerie appearance. Yet for several chilling moments, the video creates the terrifying impression of a phantom, silently watching a child who never realized it was there. Was this merely an optical illusion, or something far darker lurking behind the sofa? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Shared on Reddit by user bnoobs, this security footage comes from a restaurant where employees have long reported eerie, unexplained encounters. Late one night, CCTV inside a pitch-black, empty storage room captured something that left the staff thoroughly unnerved. With no one anywhere near the aisle, a tall bottle suddenly flies from the shelf and crashes onto the floor. What makes the moment so unsettling is how the bottle had been stored, wedged tightly beneath the shelf above it, making it virtually impossible for it to simply tip forward on its own. Skeptics suggest the bottle may have gradually slipped over time, or been nudged by vibrations deep within the building. But to the employees who claim the restaurant is cursed, this was no accident. Was this merely an unusual trick of physics, or another chilling sign of a restless entity lurking inside the storage room? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. TikTok user Mackie shared this eerie security camera footage captured inside her workplace. As a lone employee sits quietly behind the counter during a late shift, the stillness is suddenly broken by an unnatural movement. With no one anywhere near it, a heavy wooden drawer beneath the opposite counter slowly glides wide open on its own. The startled employee instantly freezes, staring directly at the opening drawer in sheer disbelief. Yet the room remains completely empty. Skeptics argue that the drawer track may have been uneven, unlevel, or left slightly unlatched. But to the employees who swear the building is haunted, this was no mechanical glitch. Was this merely a faulty drawer sliding open, or proof of a restless spirit making its presence known? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Esmeralda Vega posted this eerie clip showing a woman sitting quietly on the floor. At first, the room appears completely calm, until the person holding the camera notices something disturbing, moving right beside her.
That shit moved again, I'm throwing it across the...
Without anyone touching it, a small red toy car suddenly propels itself forward from behind the woman's leg. The woman immediately whips around in shock, staring at the toy as if she felt something push it directly toward her.
That shit moved again, I'm throwing it across the...
Skeptics point out that the toy could be battery-operated, resting on an uneven floor, or pulled by an unseen string from off-camera. But if no physical force pushed the car, what sent it rolling across the floor at that exact moment? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.